Welcome to the Happy Agent Podcast, the place where real estate agents get real. I'm Courtney Benson, a Wall Street Journal ranked top 1% agent based in Dallas, Texas. After over a decade in this business, I realized something. This industry is full of gaslighting nonsense. The hustle culture, the polished perfection, the pressure to pretend. Yeah, we're done with that. This podcast is where we start doing things differently. We're bringing back the fun, the alignment, the real connection. With a grounded mindset, a lot of laughs, and total authenticity, we're showing up as ourselves to attract the clients, the opportunities, and the life we actually want. No, it's not always perfect, but we're here, we're building something better, and we're doing it together. You may have seen me on Inman News or catch me live on the NAR stage this September. But right now, let's get into today's episode. Good morning. Hi. My screen's dirty. Hold on, I'm picking up my... How are you?
Fabulous.
Good. So we're on TikTok live while
Awesome.
we're recording this. And TikTok won't get to hear the new podcast intro that I recorded. And it even has music set to it.
Ooh, I love it.
I figured by like my 20th episode, I would just really have it polished up. So we're working on that. So for everyone who, well, especially on TikTok, so I can tell them who we are, what we're doing.
Sure.
Because they're going to miss the intro. So I'm Courtney Benson, and I've been a realtor in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area for a decade. Wall Street Journal agent, do all the things. I got a community called the Happy Agent Collective, which is where we will air this podcast. And then I want to introduce you, Ryann Gillen, who everyone the world knows as Courtney's business therapist. Yes. And now the business therapist to everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell us what you're working on, and then I'm going to tell everybody what we're talking about today.
Yeah. So it's actually kind of fun. It was Courtney who dubbed me the business therapist, right? Like the industry would call me a coach, and nobody likes that word. So it was Courtney who dubbed me the business therapist,
and then I hate working out, and it gives me workout vibes.
So I got like probably about 6 months after you gave me kind of that title, I got the kind of intuitive hit to create a program called Business Therapy. So I actually have a 12-week program called Business Therapy, which walks people through. I just lost your video. There you are. That walks people through. I say it's kind of the energy behind money, love, respect, business. And we obviously talk about business, but it's so much more than that, as you know. So that's my heart is helping people find a way to grow businesses that are really aligned, that allow them to hit their material goals, but also at the same time, like you often say, not sell their soul. So that's what I do.
How's it going? People are loving it because I'm getting feedback from people.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know that. Thank you.
I'm like, I know. This is why I'm so well adjusted.
So no, it's going really, really well. I'm actually in a one-on-one experience with a couple of real estate agents right now, and it's so fun, like just in less than a week to see things shift, like the out of the blue deals that come in and the contracts that come in. Or one client was telling me it was somebody she sold a house to 4 years ago called her on Friday, no communication between here and there. She's like, they don't live here, so they're not getting like my marketing, and they called and like, my sister's moving to can you help me? Like, that's the sort of cool shit that's happening when it comes to energy alignment. So we're having a blast. My clients are crushing it, and it's just the most fun I've ever had at work in my entire life.
I'm having fun too. I'll tell you about that text message later, but so let's get into it because we also have work and mom stuff to do.
I know, right. I know. I was like, can we do this at 9:15? I got to drop a kid at baseball camp, and then I have a call at 10, and then I got to pick mom from baseball camp, and I love you. I'll see you there.
Yeah. So here's the thought. So what if our secret weapon to business was something that we keep ignoring?
Yeah.
Right. So before you answer that, we're going to insert our podcast intro theme, and then we're going to go. So now that that's done, because we're also going to record this for later.
Beautiful.
So give us the answer to that question.
What's the secret weapon?
What is our secret weapon that we keep ignoring?
Our gut, our intuition, whatever you call it, right? Some people say it's their gut. Some people call it their intuition. Some people call it God, source, the universe. But like that feeling in your belly when you're like, this is going to work or this is not going to work, we ignore that so much, especially as women. I see it more in women than men. But I also see it in men too, because we tend to over logic, right? We're like, that doesn't really make sense logically. So basically we let our logical mind drive way too often.
Why do you think we do that?
Because that's what the world has taught us, right? Like I actually just coached a client through this yesterday. She was looking at a spreadsheet, right, of like their projected, income in their business and blah, 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 this and that. And she was telling me, she wanted to do this, this, and this, but the numbers didn't tell her that, right? And I was like, well, what's your gut tell you? And she said, my gut says to do it. And I'm like, yeah. And now you're telling me that there's more power in that spreadsheet than what your heart is telling you right now. And it's because that's what the word, look at the numbers. Does it make sense? Is it logical? Is it safe? Can we project it? What's history tell us, right? Like we tend to pull from experience and let the experience drive, like past lived experience, instead of like right now, right here in my body, this feels good or this doesn't. Mm-hmm. So this might look like, let me give you an example. When somebody says, they create a piece of content, video content's obviously your jam, Courtney. So I have the nudge that tells me if I got really good at video, I would attract way more leads, right? But then what we do is we create 2 videos and we get 0 leads and we're like, meh, video doesn't work for me. Even though in your heart of hearts, short form video is something that is really good for you. And pick your poison. Like I'm just using this as an example, right? Everybody's intuition is going to tell them something different, but we'll say, well, I created video before and, it didn't work. Or my broker tells us that this is better, right? Like we should be doing this instead of this. But like my gut tells me I would really enjoy this, or this would be really fun. So those are just some of the examples of things that I so often see, whether it's in the form of marketing or taking on contracts or clients or opportunities or listings that we all know are or are not going to sell, but we take them anyway, just in case.
When it comes out of insecurity and
100%.
So like for me, when I don't trust my gut, it, it depends on how much. Oh, you're good. This is just how we do around here, guys. We just put out the content. However it comes out is how it comes out. It's always well received, though. Always. Of course. Oh my God, I have some messages to share with you. I've received the most incredible messages from people watching the podcast. When I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And then people say like such nice things, and people are so kind to me. It blows me away. But that's a whole nother. For me, like when I don't trust my gut, sometimes it depends on how much money's in my bank account.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to take this client on. I don't want this listing. And then I panic and do it anyways, because I'm like, who am I to turn down opportunity to make money to support my family? And so that
can we stop that question right there? Who am I? Who am I? You are the creator of your reality. Who am I to turn down things that don't feel good? The creator of your reality. That's who you are.
I think like for me, and I know, and I'm in talking to other people too, like what if we doubt ourselves? Like what if we're wrong? What if we're wrong? Everybody knows more than we do. People are more successful than we are. So if so-and-so says do it, don't do it.
Right.
Why wouldn't I trust them because they're successful? And then we ignore our own gut too. The money one for me has always been big, and it goes through seasons of insecurity about the market's going to do this, and now I'm panicked, I should take everything I can get, and then I instantly regret it. And when you shouldn't work with somebody.
Yes.
Like immediately. And then we just either it's the people pleasing, and I've done this, we've talked about this recently. There's a couple things that I've done recently where it was a people pleasing response, not even necessarily a monetary, like, oh, it's business and I'd like to, eat tomorrow. It was more, I don't want them to think I don't care about them, or I don't have their best interest, in a variety of things, from agents who've come over to join me at the brokerage to clients, buyers and sellers. We've had that conversation. So we do it for, what did we say? People pleasing, financial lack, scarcity,
pressure. Yeah.
Pressure to perform that number. That's a big one. What do you see? You've been working with agents now for a while. What is the number one thing that people are not trusting their gut over?
It's money and somebody who knows better than me. Like if I had to boil it down to 2, it's the number in my bank account, and that's universal for every industry I work within. And then secondarily is that person knows more than me. They've been doing it longer. They make more money than me. They're more experienced. Again, just this wild assumption that somebody else knows better than me for me. And so those are the two biggest I see, right? There is the pressure to perform and chase numbers and things like that. To me, I don't find that as much the gut piece and the intuition piece. That's when like the ego starts to drive and we wind up like just becoming addicted to success and money. So I would put that more in that bucket. The intuition bucket is in those two things. Like, and what I mean by that is we let the number in our bank account dictate what's right and wrong for us, right? Or we let somebody else's expertise overshadow what we feel to be true. Those are the two biggest foundational things in trusting our gut or our intuition that I see most often.
And we just talked about the video thing because I do a lot of like with Lacey Brucci, she's on TikTok too. We do a lot of classes. We got a Social Agent Society class coming up this Thursday actually in Dallas.
That looks so fun.
People want, because we have so much fun. So people want to come in and they want to be a part of the fun. And also in converse to that, there's people who absolutely believe that they should be doing video, but they're afraid, and we work through it.
Sure.
And there's people who are peer pressured into showing up because other people are doing video, but in their heart, they can't do it. They don't want to do it.
Right.
They absolutely loathe it. And then they'll come to talk to us and they're like, I absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of it. How do I do it? And I'm like this, you're never going to do it.
No.
You're never going to do it. And it's okay.
Yeah. Let yourself off the hook.
Yeah. Like, it's okay. You don't have to do it, but they have to trust their gut. And I can tell when they bring up those feelings and they talk about like, I really don't feel it. I really, then go with it.
Well, and I think it's also important here though, is there is a difference between I don't know how to do this and I feel like a novice and I am uncomfortable. That is a very different feeling than this is not for me. Right? Because there are some times where it's just like, yeah, of course, in the beginning of creating video content, TikTok content, Courtney, you weren't good at it either. I mean, you're funny.
Those dance videos were fire. So like, how do you know the difference between the two?
I think it's an honest conversation with yourself, right? Like this comes down to, and I might recommend, journaling or going for a walk or spending some time in the quiet. I think that's a lot of why our intuition and our gut also gets overridden, Courtney, because nobody slows down enough to hear it, right? And so I think oftentimes that's how we know the difference. When it's like, there's a feeling in my body right now that says that this thing is not totally aligned. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from, this is not aligned? Or is this coming from, yeah, I'm learning a new skill and I'm really uncomfortable sucking at things, but I'm going to figure it out until I do. And I think, again, most people try to pretend they're that person. I'm going to learn, Courtney, I'm going to come to your class. I'm going to give you my $10. I'm going to show up. I'm going to learn from you and Lacey. But they're in a place where that's what they're thinking. I can just white knuckle my way through this. But like you said, you can tell energetically that this is not aligned for them at all. This is not something they want to be doing. This is something they feel like they have to be doing. And there's a difference. When I feel like there's something I want to do and I'm not good at it, cool, practice. If there's something that I feel like I have to do and I don't want to do, that's the intuition. That's the gut. That's the alignment.
Well, how do the gut and energy then play off each other? Which one, like, if you have it in your gut that something is for you, but you don't quite have the energy yet, is that just simply you haven't found the alignment of that thing? Like, how do those two play off?
Or you just haven't practiced it enough, right? So say you get the intuitive hit that you're like, I want to create video content. This I think would be a really cool way to grow my business and have fun and connect with people and show off my skills. So that's the intuition, right? Well, energetically, how do I align with that? Practice. In the beginning, when you put out your first video and you feel like you want to vomit and 6 people watch it, it doesn't feel good. We have to practice it, right? Like, it's like anything in life. It's a momentum game. It's a focus game. So when I get an intuitive hit for something, like I'm writing a book. I'm actually writing companion books. I'm writing. I can't tell you what they are yet. I mean, I'll tell you. I'll text you, but I can't tell the rest of you. I'll text you, Courtney.
I'm not ready to release it to the TikTok.
But I'm going to write a book, and like this is a totally different I wrote a book a couple years ago, but this is a totally different process. And so I am uncomfortable, right? So energetically, I'm not aligned with being an author yet, right? But my intuition tells me, Ryann, write the book. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start voice memoing ideas and taking notes and paying attention and studying and looking at other people who have maybe done what I want to do and all of that to start lining myself up with the energetics behind it. right? But the first thing was the intuition to write the book.
Mm-hmm.
And now I got to go find the momentum to become an author because I'm not going to say find, I'm going to change that. I'm going to go create the momentum to become an author.
And how do you do that?
Practice.
You're practicing.
Well,
And
so
does your practice look like finding people to
Mhm.
inspire you,
Yes.
follow,
Yep.
and then just start
Yeah.
jotting stuff down?
Yeah. So for me, like I was out of town this weekend. I went on my first ever girls trip, t-shirts included. It
Oh
was-
yeah, you did.
Look at your judgy face.
That's so judgy. I haven't seen the photos yet, so I'm gonna withhold full judgment on the
They're
photos.
so good. And I was getting a lot of ideas. So I would just voice memo myself, like, oh, this is an idea. I could include this in the book. Like, oh, this might be a cool way to tell the story. I asked one of my girlfriends who does nothing anywhere close. She's a nurse, like nothing anywhere close to what I do. And I was like, hey, Chelsea, tell me your perspective on this. What are your thoughts on this? Like, so that's how I'm starting to build momentum. I'm talking about it, right? Like I'm going to write a book. Here are the ideas. I'm going to pick up other books that maybe look like my books. I'm going to go follow other people on social media to get ideas. When I go for a walk, I'm going to start voice memoing, okay, what would a book look like? What my outline, what are the topics I think are interesting, right? So that's what I mean by practicing the momentum. Like 2 weeks ago, writing a book was not on my radar. Now it is. So now I have to like, okay, what do authors do? I don't know, right? So I'm going to start playing around with it. And so it's letting it be playful, letting it be fun. Like I love your story of when you started in real estate, like you didn't follow a blueprint. In fact, you gave the blueprint the middle finger and went and did whatever the hell you wanted to do, which is why you're amazing at what you do, but you didn't know what you were doing. You just practiced.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you,
Naive, I think a lot of my success started off of me just being simply naive.
everybody, if we could all be that naive forever.
It really is a gift. And I almost think, and that's an
Yes.
interesting conversation because
Yeah.
I think so many people think, well, I don't know any better. I don't know, so I can't do it. I
Right.
think being naive and ignorant to something to the full
Oh my God.
spectrum
Yes.
is actually a superpower because
It
you
is
don't
a
have
superpower.
to be scared.
Yes.
I
I
got
didn't
into
know.
real estate and like a couple people were like, "Oh, it's really hard." And I'm like, "All right. I mean, you just open doors. My God, how hard could it be?" I like
Right.
looking at pretty houses and you open doors. That's, really, it's so much more than that. But like I was so naive to what failure even looked like, and I
Right.
didn't have any money, so where the
Yeah.
hell else I couldn't go any further.
Exactly.
And I just stabbed at stuff
Yeah.
until I figured out what I liked. And people,
My work is more about unlearning than it is about learning.
yeah.
Because like you, I mean, that's 100%. Like when I used to grow sales organizations, most sales reps were most successful in their first 6 months, statistically, because in their first 6 months, they didn't know to be scared, expect the objection, expect the fulfillment issue that, everybody else in the company already knows, right? Like, so they were like, well, this is what they told me to do, and this is what I'm doing, and this is what I should expect. And they just go do it. And then when they start to get rejected or they get told no, or they have a talk over the water cooler and somebody tells them that, oh, well, don't sell that. We're really shitty at fulfilling that. Like our clients hate that. And then like, oh gosh, right? And now all of a sudden we're gathering all this information, and then we start to see, and again, it's been years since I've done this, but it was very like somewhere between 6 and 9 months, there was a very specific drop off in that time frame, because now I have data and information. I've been rejected. I've been told no. Deals fallen apart, right? So now I'm like, oh shit, I got to make sure that doesn't happen again. And then we go try to solve a problem that doesn't exist. It's literally the cycle. Like I talk a lot about this in my work. There's the whole, I don't know what I'm doing. And so there's this youthful exuberance about it, right? This is fun. I'm just going to play. And when we play, we win. And then all of a sudden I'm an expert and people should expect things from me. And now I have to, like your situation, right? Like now I have to pass last year's number, and now people are watching me, and what are they going to think? And we lose the fun, and we lose the magic, and we stop following our gut because last year this worked, right? This is how I had the best year of my career. So I'm just going to keep holding on as tightly as I can to what I did last year, even though in my gut, I know the way that I marketed last year, the way that I showed up last year, the number of deals that I did, the clients that I work with. I don't ever fucking want to do that again, but I want that number. So I'm just going to keep repeating myself. And this, like tying us back to our conversation here today, we override the intuitive hit of like, which you found, which was like, I got to do this differently. I cannot do another year like last year. So I have to find a different way to do it.
Well, and a lot of times trusting your gut then becomes scary. I mean, when I left Compass to go over to Real
Yeah.
Broker, I mean, we had so much money and finances tied into Compass to undo that ball was very scary. And that's, you entered the picture about that time, and we walked through that. And I was like, oh, like I literally was having anxiety attacks, and I'm just like, it's, but there was
But
something
then what happened? What was
Well, so the tool was, I mean, I was just, like I said, there was just something where I'm like, none of this is sitting right
Yeah.
with me. I don't know how to
Yeah.
fix it. And it was affecting our business. And then you gave me the tool of writing it down. And I
Yep.
was like, Ryan, I don't journal. That's so lame. Like, I'm like, can I go for a walk or something? Like, is there
You don't do that either. Like,
exactly,
just
exactly.
like, can you
But
bring me a
was
Diet Coke from
right,
McDonald's
right.
and
I'm
a cup
like,
of coffee at the
all
same
right,
time,
is
and then I'll do it.
there a batch of chocolate chip cookies I can eat to make that go away? And you were like, because that my gut would trigger something and then
Yeah,
my mind would
of
overthink.
course.
And then
Yeah,
I would go through every bad scenario possible,
yeah,
thinking I'm preparing myself.
yeah.
Then I was just bringing it to me. Like I
Uh-huh.
had no idea till we had that conversation and you were like, write it down. And so
Hmm.
I'm like, fine, I'm gonna write it down. I mean, I'm paying you for this advice. My God, I guess I'll follow it. Fine, fine. And so I was like literally writing it out. And
Hmm.
Gabe is like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm writing something down. He was like, whatever. And then it freaking worked. I wrote
Yeah,
it down. I
yeah.
was like, I'm going to lock into this.
Hmm.
No other scenario about what's going to happen is going to enter my head other than
Yeah,
this. I put it away and it freaking happened. And I
of
was like,
course.
that might be I mean, that's a big one, but it might be a one-off. And then like the next thing came up and I'm like, I'm gonna write it down. Every
Hmm.
time, whether it was going to a listing appointment, working with
Right.
a buyer,
Yes.
writing an offer for someone, filming a podcast, I'm like, I'm just gonna write down how I want it to go. And
Mm.
I noticed like every time I would write something down and how I want to feel, I always want to feel easy.
Hmm.
Like that is a reoccurring theme that is coming from my gut. Like my
Hmm.
gut wants me to feel easy. I want to feel
Right.
free flowing,
Yeah.
easy. I'm not forcing anything. And so I'm always asking for easiness of
Yeah.
words, feelings, emotion, relationships. I want it to flow. Like
Yeah.
that is big. But you and I've talked before and you have complimented my intuition and my gut
Absolutely.
instinct,
Yeah.
which I often fight against
Of
based
course.
off of information I'm given.
Hmm.
But it does. I had an incident this morning where my gut was like, I need to I need to send a text message this morning.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just that kind of gut feeling. And
Hmm.
you know, we should trust it. We should
Of
trust it. So
course.
what happens if we keep denying? I know what happens,
Yeah.
but share with us what happens when we keep denying that gut feeling and that we fight against ourselves. What happens to us?
Burnout, chaos, drama, shitty deals, bad clients, cutting big checks to people we don't want to cut big checks to. I mean, we both have that story, right? When you stopped following your gut, your business went to shit,
Yeah.
right? When I stopped following my gut, my whole effing life went to shit, right? So, and I hate to sound dramatic, but when you let, because basically what it is the difference between being self sourced in your power or letting, for a lot of us, our bank account, our data, our spouse, our broker, our famous TikToker that we follow tell us what to do. We've abdicated our power. We've given our power away. And every time you give your power away to any of those things, you're gambling at that point. Because again, one of the things I often want to point out, you can have success doing things that are not intuitive, right? That are not guts. Like you can override your gut and white knuckle your way through a situation that you hate. We've all done it. The sustainability of it becomes the issue, right? Like that's often what winds up happening to a lot of women who go through cycles, at least in my experience. I work with a lot of women. They go through cycles of success and then fall off, right? That was your story. That was my story. A lot of women, they were like, yeah, I was successful in this and I'm not successful in this, right? And it's like, yeah, because you're like the gut versus the not versus the what feels, or we white knuckled our way through something we hated doing. And so now we're trying to continue to do that thing that we hate doing, but we can't force it anymore. And that's when results, like that was my story. The thing that I had done to make millions of dollars stopped working.
Yeah. But
And
that
it
story
wasn't
is how
sustainable.
you entered my life.
Yeah.
Is because I had sold $30 million
Yeah.
dollars and I was miserable. And I was like, I thought I had lost 130 pounds and sold $30 million. Dollars. What the hell is my problem? I should be
Right.
nothing but freaking skipping through fields of poppies. Like
Right.
just what is my problem? And it wasn't until my husband was like, what the hell is your problem? And then
Right.
you came across my TikTok page and I was like, I got to talk to her. And I said, I don't even know what you do, but I just feel like you could help me.
Yeah.
And we talked through that year, which was
Yeah.
before last was my biggest
Yeah.
year.
Of course.
And you said, oh my God, like that's huge, right? Like, how did that feel? Were you so proud of yourself? And I said, no, I sat there and I freaking cried. And you said,
Yeah.
what do you mean you cried? And I said, I did. And I was so disappointed in myself that I could hit
Right.
my goal and cry. And you said, well, you can't have a happy ending without a happy journey. I was
Hmm.
like, what? What are you talking about? And so that one sentence, which I've shared
Hmm.
in my talks that I do,
Sure.
has like reframed everything. So funny, I was taking my dad, we were driving an hour away to go to baseball this weekend, and we were in the car and we were talking about business, and I was just saying, like, yes, I have a goal this year. I want to sell $35 million this year, but I don't keep checking in with it. Like, my metric now is every day I'm just showing up to do the things that I know that make me happy, that I know move the needle without
Yeah.
force. So I get to talk to you this
Yeah.
morning. I get to go do some video house walkthrough for some people relocating who found me on TikTok. Like, these are all
Yeah.
things that I really love to do, negotiating contract later. Like,
Yeah.
I love doing these things. I'm not doing things I don't want to do, like going to
Right.
classes that I know don't do shit for me.
Okay.
Going to
Yeah.
broker meetings where
Right.
everyone's just sitting there to complain, making cold calls because I know I don't want to do that. I'm
Sure.
not doing any of those things.
Right.
And last week I hit elite agent status with Real Broker. So I think it's like, I don't know, I think of like 35 houses or something like that. Whatever. There's a GCI and then there's a number. So
Right.
I hit that. And I wasn't even watching it. I didn't even know until the
Of
little thing
course.
popped up, and I was like, "Shut your face!" Like, oh my God, like that is just so. And I'm having so much fun, and
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the 35
Yeah.
million at
Right.
all. I'm like, I hit it.
Which means that you're going to end the year at 45 million.
I mean, that would be nice, but not like it's not even it's not
Yeah.
even on my radar. Like,
Yep.
I'm just ticking along, and I'm having so much fun,
Yeah.
and one of the things how I got to moving over was being at Compass, and we had talk about not trusting your gut.
Right.
When we moved over, I instantly knew it wasn't the right move for me, and nothing
Yep.
against the company, it just wasn't for me. But
Sure.
I moved forward because they said, if you implement this $1 billion CRM system that we have, you're going to sell $80 million. And I was like, shut your freaking face. $80 million, holy shit,
Yeah.
who wouldn't spend some time on a CRM
Yeah.
for $80 million? So I spent the entire first quarter
Hmm.
a year ago implementing the CRM because I had managed to sell $30 million with no CRM, which
Right.
people are like, how the hell do you do that? I'm like, literally, I would sit on my watch TV and I'd have my phone, and someone would come into my head and I would be like, oh, wonder what they're doing. And I would text them. Well, I had moved away. It's so weird. I know. Who has the intuitive CRM? I do. I moved away from,
All of us. All of us.
you're right.
Everybody has an
Nobody
intuitive CRM.
mentions it. Nobody brings
Right.
it up because
Right.
it's
Of
almost
course not.
because as a realtor, it's embarrassing if you don't have a CRM. People are like,
Which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So I'm going to tell you a story. I made my first $1 million as an entrepreneur selling to brand new baby entrepreneurs. I taught new business owners how to sell on the internet during COVID. Okay. And it was the hottest market in the world. And I was in a mastermind where everyone was like, I don't want to work with newbies. They don't have any money. Like, they're the worst. They're so demanding. Da 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 da. And I was a different person back then with a little more snark. And I was like, well, don't tell that to my bank account, because we made $1 million selling to people that you keep thinking have no money.
yeah.
Like, it's bananas, right? So it's let that be your story. If you can't sell $80 million without a CRM, you do you, boo. I can, because we all have an intuitive CRM. Every single one of us.
Well, and I think in real estate, we're so ingrained that if we don't have this system that everybody else has, then we're not
Right.
serious about our business.
Of
And
course.
so then that led to, well, how did I get to this point being unserious?
Right.
And well, it must be a fluke. Oh, next year it's not going to happen because it's just been a fluke for 12 years. It's been a fluke. And what I learned is that when I removed myself and my intuition from my client contact,
Yeah.
it dried up.
Of course.
Like, it just didn't resonate with people. And
Yeah.
so that was a big lesson in that that just isn't for my people. It's not for
Yeah.
me. I'm working on systems, but my intuition and my want to reach out to people, check in with people randomly, nothing to do with
Yeah.
real estate, just
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is my gift. And so I have to trust that because that's what fuels me to keep going. And it's okay. And if you want to sell $30 million without a CRM, freaking do it.
How
Like there's
many
nothing wrong
times,
with that.
how many times when you intuitively reach out to somebody, they say, "Oh my God, I was just thinking about you," or "Oh my God, I just saw your TikTok yesterday. It was so good." Like, what percentage of the time?
Definitely more than half.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's almost all the time.
Of
It's
course.
it's weird. Or I think
Mhm.
about somebody and I'm like, okay, I got to text them today. Like they popped in my mind. Oh, I wonder what they're doing. I wonder if they ever got that sink replaced. And like I'll think about it, and then a couple hours later I didn't get around to it, but they message me.
Of
And
course.
they're like, "Hey, I have a question for you." I'm like, "Shut your freaking face!" Like, I
Yeah.
swear to God, I was just thinking about you, and it's just such a weird. And then I try
Mhm.
not to be like too giddy about it because then they're like, "You're weird," but like it literally just stops me in my tracks. Like,
Right.
dang it! Like that is so freaking amazing. I
Yeah.
love that, and I think like today, and I know you got to get going here in a minute,
That's
but
okay.
the takeaway from this, if it is almost 10 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time for the rest of the day, if anyone who's listening to this
Yeah.
today can just one time today let your gut override the spreadsheet.
Yep.
Just see where it goes,
Yep.
right? See where it goes. What other tips do you have for us overthinking people pleasers?
Well, not met a real estate agent that isn't both of those things.
Right?
So,
Yep. It's our type. It's our type.
um, but I want to explain, actually, what I'm going to tell you is I want to explain why the spreadsheet it doesn't serving you, because this might help very analytical, overthinking brains. Because the spreadsheet tells the story of the past. Spreadsheets tell the story of the past. I don't know about you, but I can't go back to yesterday and do something differently. Can you?
No.
No. So why on God's green earth are we looking into yesterday or last month or last week or last year to inform today? It's bananas. I'm a different person doing a different thing, having a different experience. I get older. My kids get older. My hormones do weird things. I get new ideas. I watch new books. I listen to new books. I watch new movies. I meet new people. I have so much more information and ideas and energy right now than I've ever had, which is true to all of us if we allow it to go. But we're all like, let me reach back into that one time I got rejected, and that one time that I got told no, and that one time that that person didn't like me, and that one time I created that video that didn't work, and that one time that I trusted, that I went after something and I didn't get it. And let me take all that data, and then I'm not going to trust myself moving forward. And so if you can get kind of the most practical thing I can tell you is when you are thinking about your business, something you want to create, like if you can get as present as possible with what you're dealing with, right? Even if you're in the middle of a shitty deal, right? Like you're going to look back in the past and be like, well, here's how this is going to go. And this is how that's going to go. A client literally just manifested this in the opposite direction. She had 10 houses under contract. They were all supposed to close before the end of July. And I was like, oh, same thing with you. I'm like, oh God, are you so excited? And she's like, nope, I'm terrified. This deal isn't going to go through. This deal isn't going to go through. This deal isn't going to go through. So you can imagine how surprised I was
Well,
on
maybe
vacation.
it's true.
She was like, the new construction deals aren't going to close on time. And I'm like, well, do we want to talk about what created that? And she was like, F you, Ryan. And I was like, you're welcome. Now, if you would like those to close before the end of August, I would get my shit together energetically. Obviously, I'm
Yeah.
much kinder in conversation. But like, that's what I mean. Like, she set herself up for those deals not all closing because she was afraid they weren't going to close.
Yeah.
And so if she can get present with where we're at, which is I have 10 deals, and this is also somebody who had 2 deals, like 2 opportunities in the funnel 6 weeks before all 10 of these deals popped. Okay. Right. And the number one piece of advice I gave that particular agent was, I want you to just focus on what's going on in your life. Like, do what you got to do with the business. And when you're done doing business, go be a person. You're not a real estate agent all the time. You're a person. Go be a person. And so when she stopped worrying so damn much, just like your goal, like you said, 10 deals in 6 weeks. And so effing what if they don't all close before the end of July? Because they're all going to close.
Yeah. So her panic then started
Yeah.
her doing little micro things
Yeah.
that triggered other
Bingo.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember my first broker I ever had, he said the best thing you can do for your client is to go get another client.
Yeah.
And that was it. I was like, I mean, the guy had 2 gems in the entire 2 years I was with him. give them that. And that was one of them, because it's true. When you
Yeah.
you hold on to something so tight and you
Yeah.
start nipping at it, you
Yeah.
destroy it.
100%.
And so best thing you can do is go find another client.
Yeah. But I love what you said about like, I'm not focused on the number. I'm focused on how do I feel? Am I serving people? And am I having fun?
Yeah.
And when you do those three things, everything else will take care of itself. I'll give you a practical example. I was chased. I'm not going to use this word. I had an intention of a number on the scale that I wanted to see. I started working out and really focusing on my body and more just changing the composition of my body. And I had a number, and I think it was May 1st. I wrote it down in my journal, and I hit the number this morning. But I haven't really thought about it since then, right? Like I forget why. I think it was what had happened. I was like, I want to weigh this and I want to do this and I want this
Did
to
you
happen. I
weigh
want this.
yourself on May 1st?
Yeah.
And then you didn't hit it? Or what did you
No,
do?
so I wrote the goal down on May 1.
Oh, you
Was
must.
when I wrote it down. And then again, a whole lot of pressure, was weighing myself every day. And what do you know? The scale wasn't going in the right direction. So I told myself, I weigh myself once a week, and that is it. I also pick the day that I want to weigh myself based on what I ate yesterday.
Mine's
And what do you know? Once I stopped obsessing over it, what's going on? What's happening? This is this and that, da, 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 da. And then this, I mean, like, it almost shocked me. Like, I looked down and I was like, because I also went on vacation this weekend, and I was like, holy shit. I wrote that number down in my journal. But there was no like, don't eat this, don't eat that, do this, do that. It was just like, hey, now that I'm working out more, I want to be more mindful of the way that I'm, what I'm doing with my body right now. So that's really all the intention was. But had I obsessed over it and tracked all my food and been all chaotic about it and gone on the scale every day and talked to everybody who would listen about how the scale's not fucking moving, I wouldn't have hit the number.
And did
But
you celebrate the number when you hit it, or did you now
100%.
move
I
it?
woke Derek up this morning and was like, babe,
Guess what?
guess what? He was like, it is 5:45 a.m., Ryan. And I'm like, I know. And then that. So yes, I did.
Good. Because that's my habit. You've called me
Yeah.
out on that. Is I
Yeah.
have a goal, I hit it, and before I've celebrated the goal, I'm down here like that one never even happened. So
Yeah.
trust our gut.
Always.
Celebrate those moments that come as wins.
Mm.
And today, just we're putting it out there. If you've not trusted your gut, do it today. Find the
Yes.
one thing that has been gnawing at you, like I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't take that client. I shouldn't respond to that text message that way. I shouldn't, whatever that something is you should or shouldn't do that you feel is nagging at you. This podcast today is your push to go trust yourself. Trust yourself.
So
Thanks,
good.
Ryan.
Thanks, Courtney.
We have so much to talk about.
I know. We need to catch up. I'll text you.
Okay. All right. Have a good day. Bye, everybody.
All right.
Thanks for
Bye, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.